something very weird and interesting happened. They brought in a huge rod for trying to manually measure how deep the pit at the side of the Assyrian goes. And when Jim was poking around, he said when his stick went right the way down, his stick started to pull against something, almost like he'd caught a fish, and he started to pull back on it, and this thing was sort of resisting him. And as he pulled up the pole, this weird hook flew out of the water. It got caught on the bottom of the measuring pole, way deep down, meters and meters down in the Assyrian. And this hook flew up out of the water and smacked him in the chest. Random, and this thing could be any old thing from any old time. But it's interesting because, do you remember Miss Murray? One of the ladies who actually discovered the Assyrian, she discovered this inscription on the wall and this image, and it showed Osiris sort of hovering on a little pillar thing on a boat, holding a hook, a single hook, which is interesting because Osiris is normally seen with sort of a double hook thing crossed over the chest, but this one he's holding it out in front of him, hooked like this. Is there a statue of Osiris 15 meters below somehow? I don't know. And did his hook, did his rod even get hooked on the hook and pull it up? I don't know. Could be a coincidence, but just a weird little anomaly that happened there. That is cool. So it's 15 meters deep, 12.5 meters wide, and 21.8 meters long. This is freaking huge. So now you can start to picture and understand just how much of an architectural feat it was to design and make this. The fact that they would have had to have dug at least 15 meters down to build this chamber is phenomenal. Now it becomes a huge mysterious question of how the hell they did it when we come up against the water from the unknown source that is filling this temple area. So in the 1920s, they brought in a steam engine and a pump, thinking this would be strong enough to remove the water that had collected inside. So you can see trying in the 1920s to pump it, but the pump wasn't strong enough, and they were coming up against a sort of mucky silt that was really down deep, and they were having to manually try and move the silt and the muck with buckets. And you can see how deep they had to dig here. They had to build a deep pathway just so that they could try and get the steam engine and equipment into the whole Assyrian area. These amazing old photographs of these guys moving these blocks just with rope and manpower. So they could only get so far in the 1920s because the pump just wasn't strong enough. So in more modern times, Jim Westerman and a team went in and they bought in even bigger pumps, even more strong modern pumps to try and get the water out of the Assyrian so they could really get to the chambers below and see what the hell was going on. And they did lots and lots of tests while they were excavating or trying to excavate this site. Now they ran into problems as well. Even the modern pumps and machinery could not move the water fast enough out of the Assyrian. They even cordoned off part of the Assyrian and they built like a sandbank wall so that they were only trying to remove a part of the water, not even all of it. And the modern machine was struggling.